Hello everyone, and welcome to the Global T20 Canada League with a big build-up with 2 more games to go. 3 teams left, the West Indies, I like to call them the development team, the Vancouver Knights, and of course the Winnipeg Hawks. So without further ado, before we welcome everyone here, it's my great pleasure to welcome Ashit Patel, the Director of Mercuri Canada here. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Jason Harper, our Tournament Director, good on you, good to see you. David Warner, the Captain, Skipper of the Winnipeg Hawks. Tim Southee, of course, a member of the Vancouver Knights and one of the sort of captains. I sort of was involved in some of the discussions the last few overs the other day. And also Roddy, Estwick, who's done a great job, a super job with the West Indies. Welcome to you, gentlemen. Thanks for coming along. Without further ado, before we ask the gentlemen to come forward to do some photos with this prestige, lovely, beautiful trophy, I'd like to talk to you about some of the talking points that we've had for this GT20 Cup. And the first franchise league of the professional cricket in North America was managed by Cricket. This is the first ever, managed by Cricket Canada and Mercuri Group and supported by the West Indies Cricket, which is great. 6 teams have battled it out. 106 players have been, out of which 43 are associate members, which is fantastic for the chance for development of them. 31 Canadians have played in the league. Nitish Kumar, who's been an outstanding player, has played beautifully. Baba Hyatt, of course, the skipper of Hong Kong, he's played really well. And Nikhil Dutta, who's really impressed many others. The league has saw the world's T20 players coming to Toronto and showcasing their skills. Have been the likes of these gentlemen on the left, as well as Steve Smith and Chris Gale and Lendl Simmons, Lasith Malinga and others, which up there is one of the best standard leagues without doubt around the world, the quality of players that we've had here. So we've been absolutely so lucky to have them to come along. Without doubt, Fidel Edwards has bowled magnificently throughout this tournament. The 36-year-old is an astonishing economy rate of 5.7. I wouldn't like to face him, that's for sure, even now. And also, well done, the West Indies have played really some great cricket and some youngsters coming through. And that knock yesterday by Shafan Rutherford, outstanding. You've liked him right from the get-go, I know, Roddy, and you've worked really well with him. So well done to him, the way the boys are playing up to now. So congratulations on that. More than 13 countries have covered the league and broadcasted it around the world. Now, we had a FIFA World Cup going on, and we've had Wimbledon, and we're on the front page of BBC, which is absolutely enormous to have that sort of penetration around the world in the media. We've had 9 players from 19 different countries playing in the league, 1,500 plus players registered from over 40 countries to try to get into play in this league, which is amazing. So 13 Canadian players have played at least 1 game in the tournament, which is outstanding. And just to remind you where our broadcast partners are: Star Sports in India, UK Free Sports, Canada ATN, Fox Sports in Australia, Pakistan Geo Sports, Middle East OSN, Bangladesh, Ghazi, and the Caribbean, which is the Sportsmax, which has been pretty well covered and followed by a lot of people. So this league ain't a small league. Everybody knows about it around the world. So congratulations to the organisers, to the players and why they've played this particular league and gone about their work. So it's a credit to all concerned. Without further ado, can I ask the boys, the 3 guys, to come up forward to take a photo. There's a photo opportunity here with this lovely trophy, and maybe one of you might get the opportunity on Sunday afternoon to raise it. There we have the lads there.
Good? Thanks.
Okay, stay there, boys, please. Please, Ashit, and to come forward. Jace, also to be in the photo. Little guys at the front there.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Short guys.
Can I get down there?
The small guys.
Good.
Well done. Thanks, guys. Hopefully you will get a chance to get close to it on Sunday. Right, so it's a bit fun time now and ask a few questions to the boys. I'll go with you, Ashit. Are you happy the way that things have gone and the standard of play and the big names you've got for the league?
I'm absolutely happy, thrilled. Firstly, I want to thank all the players across the world who have come and participated in this. It's because of them and the coaches and the whole team and all the staff that has supported us to come down and play this game. The level of playouts has been fantastic. It took a little while to pick up, but even the audience is building up. People are finding alliances to the teams. It's a gradual thing. So that has been happening, and I'm seeing amongst folks outside supporting one team or the other. Initially, they didn't know, who to support. We are in one city, 22 games, so it's a challenge. Most leagues have 5 or 6 games in each city, so to draw the crowd in. But the weekends have been good, and next year I think we'll have packed stadiums all through.
Can I ask you your vision, firstly, for this tournament? Are you looking to play it maybe in Vancouver or other places as well, not just here?
That's the ultimate goal. We have to go and see various structures and facilities and what is available. I would also, as we progress, would love to have the United States involved, a few teams from there, and make it a strong thing where we can travel to Florida or to New York or to Houston and play a few games out there. So over the next 3, 4, 5 years, that's the whole plan, to get America involved, this whole region involved. There's a huge diaspora, 20 million people from the subcontinent, the West Indies, Afghanistan, name them, and that's as big as Australia.
And Bradman played here in the early 1930s, scored 3,700 runs and averaged 102. He had a struggle on his honeymoon, mind you, which is a good effort. Who lets their husband go and play cricket on the honeymoon? But more importantly, can we get cricket into the universities, into the schools? This T20 format has to be the way to go, surely.
Right. That's the plan. We want to start with the under-19 program, the under-23 development, first identifying and managing the youth in here, taking them to different parts of the world, different pitches, so they can understand how the game is played in different areas, conditions, various other things. And I think there are programs in school, and I think Pepsi is very involved in developing that in schools, for team building and various other things. So that's happening, but the pace will pick up with this tournament going forward.
Before we go to the boys here, I believe are there 50 grounds in Canada that have got turf pitches? Is that round about right?
I 50? There are more.
Is it?
Yeah, there are more. But they just haven't, got the infrastructure around. So I was talking to a lot of ministers that came to watch the game, and I'm going to repeat this again. Canada has gone to the World Cup 4 times. And they don't have one proper stadium, while they've gone to World Cup soccer just once. And so I think they are getting to understand it's a growing sport, probably the fastest in the country, and we will get support as we move forward. And and build proper facilities, not as big as you see them in Australia and India and all that stuff, but a good ground, good facilities, good pitches, good getting curators, to look after them and maintain them. So that's the plan as we move forward.
Super stuff. All right, Davey, are you a little bit rusty at the start, but things are coming along nicely now. How have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, look, it was obviously a rough start, but this is when you peak, when the pressure's on, and the title's on the line. So to gain some traction and some momentum, and win back-to-back games leading into this one is great for us.
Have you enjoyed the league? Is it the standard?
Yeah, look, it's been fantastic. I think to get the amount of players and international players that you see here that have played in a lot of tournaments around the world, and I think it's an exceptional way forward as well for Canada, cricket in Canada. So we played in a fair few tournaments around the world with the same people that have been involved, and I can guarantee one thing: the standard never drops.
It certainly did, and we had just another super game yesterday. We had 2 magnificent games on semi-final days yesterday. What have you learnt yourself about getting back into the role, and now you're skipper? What have you learned about this particular league that helped you become a better player?
Yeah, I think it's the group that you have and the team that you get together in a short period of time and try and build trust and friendship between each other, and then go out in the field and try and execute your skill. it's quite tough to get everyone together in a short space of time, to try and work together as a unit. And our team especially has bonded very well. I can't speak for our team, but whether it's playing football or going out and having a laugh with each other, team dinners, they're the things that build teams and foundations moving forward in tournaments. So hopefully next year the teams are quite similar as well. Obviously there might be a draft or whatever it is, but to keep momentum going, you've got to build a foundation in the family, I believe.
Well, of course, the contract's coming into place, and it looks like the new law of the ICC coming, you're only allowed to play at 3 proposed T20 leagues. Obviously you'll get a Cricket Australia contract next year. Would you use this as a one of your 3 if you got the opportunity, if Australia wasn't playing?
Yeah, look, definitely. You've obviously got to weigh up your options of. I'm a believer of making sure that you're playing consistent cricket. You don't want to be going one tournament in January, one tournament mid, and then towards the end of the year you want to try and play back to back and squeeze them together. So you're getting the right sort of momentum going forward. That's how I see cricket in general, and I can only speak on my terms where I've been playing the last 6 years constantly, and that's worked for me. Obviously having 12 weeks off and having a couple of games, I'm quite rusty, so I think I'll stick to my same formula if I can.
Before I get to Tim, any players that really stood out? Rutherford yesterday was just mind-boggling that night. It was one of the best we've seen for a long time.
Yeah, definitely. I think the courage that they've shown, the kids in the West Indies B team has been phenomenal, and that just shows that you can play with a clear mind and freedom when you've got nothing to lose. The hardest thing is backing that up down the track. We always talk about coming back and trying to be the same team, produce it, play with a clear mind. That's the hardest thing to do as a professional athlete, and no one's taken that team lightly at all. We knew that they're going to be a strong team. Some of the West Indian greats that are here, that they know what the talent is, and it's great to see that, because moving forward, for me going to CPL, I know what I'm going to be playing with and against. So it's great, and to get this team here in Canada has put them on the world stage as well, because a lot of people are seeing the talent. So it won't be long before they're back here playing in different tournaments around the world.
All right, mate. Well done, and well done on your win yesterday. If you hand the mic across to Tim. Well, talk me through that game yesterday, Tim. Thanks for joining us. That was a fantastic game. You had it won, and then all of a sudden, last minute, Rutherford just took it away from you really at the end, didn't he?
Yeah, obviously we lost the toss. We were looking to have a bowl, but then we were able to put a very good total on the board. And our guys batted extremely well on a fresh wicket, but it was a very good wicket. And then the way we came out with the ball and started, and to have them three for 20 odd early on, but it just shows you the fearless style of the Caribbean came out, and they never gave up. I guess they were behind the 8 ball for the majority of that game, but it shows you the nature of T20 cricket. You're never out of it. And when someone has their day, like Rutherford did yesterday, they can be hard to stop. He played some incredible shots, and along with Poran and the other guys towards the end, they managed to, I guess, turn a game that looked like it was dead and buried for majority of it, and actually snatch the victory.
I'm interested in what your thoughts of Chris Gale as a captain. His reaction to the loss after you had it and then they took it away from you. How's he been in the sheds?
He's obviously a very relaxed guy. His relationship and the way that him and Donovan Miller have worked together has been outstanding. Obviously, it's tough when you come into a tournament when you only got 3 weeks to gel as a team and get to know guys. I think they've done that exceptionally well. He's obviously got the respect of the players for what he's done in this game that we've played. So he's grabbed the group in such a short space of time, and we've played some good cricket throughout. And I think that the team environment that we've managed to create in the last couple of weeks has been brilliant. I think it's down to the relationship that him and also Donovan Miller have.
Be interesting to see, without preempting too much about selection, bowling at the end is difficult for bowlers now. The batsmen, these guys, have got so far in front and all these different types of shots they got. Do you think bowlers have to get their mindsets of being able to bowl more Yorkers, or get in front of where the batsmen are? Because at the moment, the batsmen are just slightly getting in front of or getting away from the bowlers, and particularly when they're going hard.
Yeah, I think so. As a bowler, I think you have to try and stay a step ahead of the batsman. Obviously, the ground's reasonably small. I think also another thing as well is adapting to the conditions. I think throughout the tournament, the surfaces sort of made you sort of head towards the slower balls, and then obviously yesterday the wicket was very good, so we probably should have gone to our Yorkers a little bit earlier and tried to shut down. There was a slightly bigger side yesterday with the wicket being on the end, so just small things like that I guess that now hopefully we can put those wrongs that we didn't quite tick off yesterday into the game tomorrow.
Well, why is it? It's not just the same in this league, but also in other leagues around the world, that there's 5 teams of only one batting first, and there's 13 or 14 and one batting second. Why is that? Why isn't the teams batting first can't just say, right, our target's 190, we're chasing 190 when batting first? Why is it the teams of one batting second so much?
That's a good question. I don't know whether the mentality as batsmen change when you're chasing a score. Obviously, guys aren't scared of big totals. I think the quality of batters throughout the order now, I think you guys can bat right through to 11, especially in T20 sides, so you're not actually scared of a big total even if you lose. A couple like we saw yesterday when their top 3 batsmen out in the power play, that they still had the nerve to come out and keep playing with a carefree attitude and the way like they were chasing big scores. So I think the attitude is when you're chasing, sometimes I guess when you're batting first you're not quite sure what a good score is. I think the ground size, the pitches I think are getting better and better. I don't know the answer, I'm just throwing my opinion out.
Would you like a review for next year for the teams?
Yeah, it would be nice. I think
coming from a bowler, well spoken. Yeah.
I think it's always nice to have. It's always nice to have that up your sleeve. Although the decision making's been pretty good throughout the tournament, but I think it's always nice to have one to call upon if it's needed.
Roddy, if well done to you, firstly for your boys to make the final. That's terrific stuff. And I just want to ask you, what's the vision from the West Indian selectors and the board when they presented you with this team and they selected you and made you the coach? What do they want from you before you even come over here?
Well, I'm not sure that they knew what they wanted. Obviously, they gave me 14 players, and they didn't really expect us to go very, very far in the tournament. But having coached most of these guys at the under-19 level, I knew their ability. When I looked at the team, we didn't even have openers, so I just had to use my imagination, try and find some openers and try and find a combination that works for us.
Well, it's working beautifully. Well done to you. Just quickly talk about, you don't want to single out too many players, but Shafane, Rutherford's knock yesterday, it's up there with one of the best T20 knocks I've seen in years.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. We just said we've come up with a plan to keep going. Play a fearless cricket. We've got nothing to lose. We've got everything to gain, and our team motto is to make the impossible possible. Because we're here. We've got nothing to lose. Like I said, just go out and enjoy yourself. You've got a chance to enhance your reputation. You've got nothing to lose. Just go and play. Just enjoy. And fortunately for us, most of these guys have played at the under-19 level together. So it was easy to build team spirit, to build camaraderie. So we've got a team. A lot of the other teams are coming together for the first time. So they had to build the trust and respect of each other. We're with us. We knew one another. They knew the 2 coaches. They knew one another. They knew the management team. So it was easy really to build a team and gather some momentum.
I'm interested to actually hear how you thought dealing with these youngsters when they had to feel they had to bowl to Chris Gale and to Dre Russell, 2 of the big greats. The locker room talk about, are they intimidated by those big boys a little bit? Did you hear anything about them, or they've got no fear, these kids?
No, they've got no fear. They've got, like I said, they've got nothing to lose. They've got everything to gain. And I thought that the plans that we've come up to Chris and to Russell, they've actually executed them quite well. They tend to lose concentration against the other guys. But to those 2 guys, they know that if you bowl well to Chris Gayle and you want to play a CPL or you want to get a chance to play for Jamaica, whatever, you've got to perform against greats like Chris. So they know that they're trying that little bit harder and they're working that little bit harder against those guys.
What is it with you West Indians when you start to play against each other? There was a little bit of argy-bargy late in the game yesterday. And, what is it with you guys? When your island matches are on, they must be magnificent games to watch. Huh?
Well, yeah, the competitive nature come out. You know one another. The small islands, you play cricket against each other. You play in the same team, so it's good fun. I love to see it. I love to see the Australians and the West Indians going when you were playing as well. It's good for the game. I think that too many times now the cricket is a little bit too bland. It's a little bit too dead. Cricket's a competitive game. It's a hard game. Once you don't step over the line, I love to see that little bit of aggro. It doesn't matter who's playing. I think it should be played fair but very, very hard.
One lad I've been most impressed with, he's gone off the ball a little bit, is Odin McCoy. The lessons that he'll learn from this particular tournament?
Well, yeah, I think that he's been outstanding. I've been speaking to the chairman of selectors about him. I think he's got good variety, he's got good pace, he can bowl his defensive and attacking Yorkers. I think you've seen that you've got something to work with. Our T20 team, 1 or 2 players are on the decline, so we need players to stand up and show that we've still got talent in the West Indies, that we can be competitive.
All right, well done to you. Fantastic effort to make the final, and you played absolutely really well. And to you, Jace, thanks very much for joining us. I'll go through some quick questions.
Sure.
Old Mother Hubbard's house in the back. She's got 75 kookaburras. What are we going to do to stop that from happening next year? Have a bigger net? Or
A much bigger net. A much bigger net and smaller bats, I suppose. No, it's been fun at Maple Leaf. We knew that was coming, so we got more than enough stock for balls this year. But it's been great so far. I've seen you've thoroughly had a good time. The quality of play, as David said, has been remarkable. So we'll be prepared next year with a bit more balls.
Had a few difficult problems with the pitches. A little bit. Well, let's be honest with it. But the thought process of maybe for the future dropping pitches,
Has to happen.
Yeah.
If you want to maintain the quality of the game and advance where we're going, we have to have an honest discussion about the capex investments that we need to make. Pitches is one of them. I think we've done really, really well to get to this point with the 3 pitches that we've used. The team at Maple Leaf Cricket Club has been exceptional in using the off days to their benefit, right? They've been working all through the day. You saw the quality of pitches we had yesterday after having a couple of days off. So this weekend, after today, this weekend should be a lot good quality pitches this weekend as well. But for our development, we need to consider dropping pitches to maintain and improve the standard if we want to continue playing T20 cricket at this level and attracting world-class talent like Tim and David here.
And what about for next year? Improvements that obviously we all make mistakes when we first start. Review system, maybe number 1. Any other things that come to mind to you straight away?
So our team is considering one thing, and that's improving on service delivery on all areas. So at the end of the tournament, we'll look at the competition side of things, where we went right, where we went wrong, how can we improve. From the business side of things, we'll look at where we went right, where we went wrong, how we can improve. But all of it is designed to improve the level of service. This is the first time that this has happened in North America at this magnitude in an associate country. We've stepped off on some things and missed on some things. But if you really look at the charts and the measurables that we have, we've hit on 90% of what we were trying to do in year 1. We have some really good baseline numbers that we're trying to build on. But once we improve the service delivery, cricket is cricket. The game will take care of itself. We saw that in the last 2.5 weeks. With the quality of the game will be the quality of the game. It's the stuff before the game and after the game that we'll try to improve on, that we control. The rest is up to these gentlemen.
If the ICC, as we say in Australia, are fair dinkum or serious,
What's that mean?
or serious about developing the game,
Right.
surely they must get some money to put some money into this league, because they can play it as a preempt, getting it ready for the Caribbean Premier League. Guys can get in, Nick. Young guys from the West Indies can get themselves noted and let other coaches down in the Caribbean Premier League to help their development. Like getting some notice from them and to really push the point, because it's sad that the records of these boys in this tournament is not being recognised by the ICC.
It's one of those things that we obviously have to have discussions on. Great coming from you. Thank you for doing that, for pitching that on our behalf. But again, for year 1 for the league, we can honestly say this, there was a lot of skepticism whether or not this league would happen, what standard would be delivered up until the week before the competition. It's real now. We know what we need to go, where we need to go, who we need to talk to, how we need to improve our relationship with stakeholders. We already have great relationships. Cricket West Indies going out on a limb, believing in us. Also Cricket Canada supporting them the way they can. If the International Cricket Council can recognise us in that manner, we go from strength to strength.
Okay, let's look 5 years in front. I know Ashit was talking about it a little
bit more grey.
He'll be a little, as will I, if I could go any more greyer. But the fact that, where do you see this league? Where do you hope to see this league in 5 years' time?
Robust commercial partnerships, brands associated with it, the continued development of young players here in Canada. I think one of the areas that we're most proud of is those 31 Canadians being involved and seeing them perform at the highest level. That's some of the things, those are the measurables that we genuinely care about. Continuing to invite some of the world-class players, greater television revenue and interest in the tournament. These are the things that we'll be building in the next 4 or 5 years as an entity, that GT20 will become one of the premier leagues in the world.
Lastly, tickets sold out on the weekend, I heard?
Some aspects of the tickets in the stadium have been sold out for the weekend.
Yeah.
This interest is going to happen. It will grow. We knew that competing against the FIFA Football World Cup was a big fight. We're a new property coming into the global broadcast market, the global sports property market. There'll be some times where you have to create awareness first and foremost before you try to get people to buy tickets. Yeah. So this is year 1. Year 2, year 3, year 4. We can't make the same errors. We have to improve on our strategy. So ticket sales will be robust for the weekend.
Great job by you and your team.
Thanks so much.
Fantastic, absolutely awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, if I could ask you any questions you wanted to ask these esteemed gentlemen.
David, this one's for you. How important have your last 2 performances at the crease been for your confidence after a bit of a shaky start?
I'm always a confident person, so it doesn't really bother me. I'll just go out there and keep delivering as well as I can. You know, it's a funny game, cricket, it ebbs and flows, and you know, one day you might get a duck, next day you might get 50, and then you'll get another duck. So, and for us, it's about going out there and putting your best foot forward and trying to commit every time you can and give 100%. And that's what I always do. That's what I always set out to do when I walk out in the field.
It was a little bit bittersweet, the fact that you won yesterday. I imagine it's been pretty tough for your family being back home and not able to travel with you. Can you sort of talk about how tough that's been and FaceTiming them and things like that?
Yeah, it's always difficult, especially when the kids are young, and you know, it's the wife's got to look after the kids all the time. Obviously, it's a bit far away here, but they're going to come to the Caribbean, and we have to obviously make a decision whether we wanted to come here or there. And I've got a bit more time with them in the Caribbean, so we'll move forward to that. But yeah, look, it's been a difficult time the last sort of 3 months, but you know, you always got to push forward and move on and find a way, and we're doing it at the moment.
It's amazing that when I played 1986 in India, I had to book your call to your wife 3 days in advance. 3 days in advance.
3 days.
Yeah, yes.
This is for David as well. So the fielding aspect of the game has come on a lot in the last 20 years, but it's maybe still not where some of us would like it to be. Watching you in the field over the last 2 weeks has been a pleasure. Can you talk a little bit about what you do to get your fielding so on point?
Yeah, I'm a believer that fielding wins your games. You know, those extra diving stops in the field, you know, you count the runs that are stopped. You know, run-outs yesterday, the run-out of Fletch was a big, you know, turning point of our game. You see some fantastic, you know, catches. Everyone's got the ability, but it's the attitude and discipline that you put into training. And I know myself and the Australian cricket team, we pride ourselves in our fielding and catches, and when we drop them, we're highly disappointed. So that's one thing I do pride myself on, is my fielding, and I put a lot of time and effort into training and try and be the best I can and not drop catches.
Okay, we've got a microphone for you now. So how quick are you? Anyone else? Any questions at all? Yeah, go again, yeah?
Yeah, this one's for Tim. Tim, watching you yesterday trying to bowl against Rutherford, what kind of experience is it meeting new players that you don't have so much of an exposure to as a bowler, and trying to, as Dean was saying, maneuver around the fact that batting has come a long way?
Yeah, and I think I touched on it earlier. He had a day out where he seemed to, I guess, everything he did touch to gold, turn to gold. So it's one of those days where also when you're playing international cricket or you're playing your local competition back home, you have a lot more information on certain guys, and obviously Rutherford is new to a lot of us. We're sort of talking amongst the West Indian guys that we had on the side, but everything we sort of tried, he had an answer for. So I think it's it's credit to him and the way he played. But I'm sure if we come up against him again, hopefully on Sunday, then fingers crossed we have some better plans.
Any other questions? Yes.
David, how do you rate this as a tune-up for the Caribbean Premier League?
Yeah, it's great. I think obviously getting some form and playing on wickets that probably can be quite similar over there as well. So it's just more about getting out there and getting active and getting back to the general soreness of playing cricket. That's one thing you do miss when you're away for an extended period of time. First couple of games back, you're quite stiff and sore, and once you get your mojo back and you're flying again, it helps massively. So yeah, it's been good, and I'm looking forward to having that week or so off at home and then getting back into it.
Yep.
One for Coach Roddy. If come Sunday you and the boys pull off and win this tournament, will this tournament be more for you and the group, or will you want to give some credit towards the West Indies Cricket Board?
Well, you've got to give the West Indies Cricket Board some credit. Obviously, they selected a team. I have to give credit to my management team as well for working tremendously hard to try and keep people on the park, trying to keep the spirits up. It's very, very important for West Indies cricket that we can showcase our talent and let the public see that we've got some kind of ability as well. And it's very important for some of them going into CPL. And I just want to say welcome to Dave, to St. Lucia, and hope he can have the form that he's starting to build up so we can have a good CPL as well. So it's important for the players, for everybody to see them and give them the opportunity. And thank you to Canadian cricket for giving us this opportunity to come and showcase our talents.
Last one, yeah.
This one's for Tim. So Vancouver Knights were one of the teams that fielded a Canadian very constantly, Southee-Vancouver. How much awareness did you guys have of his bowling before coming into the match, and what made you decide to have him start every game?
Yeah, I think we had the luxury of having a few days training leading into the tournament where the coaches and guys could have a look at the players, and he was obviously one guy that impressed, and he's done an extremely good job for the side throughout the tournament. So he's definitely shown his worth and his ability to be able to play at this level. And although he only bowled one over yesterday, but he's been an integral part of this side reaching the playoffs. So I'm sure he'll play a massive part tomorrow.
And with the last question from me, if I may, and I'll pass it on to you, Jason. Do you think next year that we might have the teams must play 2 Canadian players? Oh, what a catch! What a catch! Do you think that a team should have 2 Canadian players?
Why not? Why not? I mean, we'll have to have the discussion, obviously, with marquee players like Dave and those guys, and to see and assess the impacts that the Canadian players had in the makeup of the system. I don't see why not. I mean, starting these guys, they seem to have good quality. Chris tossed the ball to Ben Zaffer in the last over when Rutherford and Bramble were going well last night. I was nervous on his behalf, but I mean, it shows the quality and the confidence that we have in these guys. And again, while the commercial aspects, the business aspects of this are important, we have to leave Cricket Canada in a better place in terms of the development of the young men and the development of the game here. So if it takes us adding another player to the starting 11, ensuring that happens, so be it, why not?
So everyone, can we just say thank you very much for coming along in attendance today. Thank you very much for supporting this league. We've had a lot of fun coming along, and more importantly, on top of that, gentlemen, thank you very much for coming along, and may the best team win on Sunday, and good luck for the 2 teams tomorrow.
Thanks.
All good fun. So thanks very much, everyone.
And beyond the, yeah, perfect.